Okay, so I'm Gavin from MedTech Syndicates, and what we do is we're an interactive platform for funding medical devices. So I would have sent a link around yesterday. If you've already filled it in, don't worry about it, we can just talk through it. If you haven't filled it in, there's a QR code here, and that'll get you on, or you can look at the menti.com and put in the code. So one of the things that we were looking to find out is, actually I'll go through the glossary terms. When we talk about MedTech, we're talking about classes 1 to 3 and IVDs A to D. And the facilitators and barriers are the people, organizations, documents that help to either facilitate or act as a barrier. And then health economics is the systematic look at the cost to healthcare. So far, we've had 13 people answer. So in terms of what the barriers to MedTech and innovation invention disclosures are, we've seen that there's device classification, complicated route to market, expertise, TRL level, regulations, unknown market. So those are just a few of the things that we've been told are some of the barriers. I've been told today that committed PIS is PIs, yeah. It didn't. I spent a while trying to figure out what that one was. Okay. So in this one we've 14 answers. So the facilitators to MedTech invention disclosures, men of industry organizations, policy drivers, key opinion leaders, funding, early adoptive, again collaborative PIs, interactive TTOs. So over the next few weeks, what I will be doing is developing this out further, and then I will try to rate all of the different things by doing another survey, which will allow people to rank them in terms of what we want to see. In terms of what marketing research is necessary when evaluating MedTech prior to patenting, this is something that we're really interested in because we do see a lot of companies that come through, and one of the evaluation protocols we like to see is healthcare economics. And I was really happy when I seen that somebody actually had written healthcare economics. Some of the TTOs find it very, very helpful. Some of the TTOs kind of leave it as an afterthought until they're spun out. So that's a really interesting answer to see. Freedom to operate, the novelty of the device, worldwide IP landscape. So lots of really good information there. What are the barriers to MedTech patenting? If you have any other additional answers, feel free to add them on. But maintenance costs, novelty, quick adoption to markets seem to be the most important things. But you see cost and cost there as well. So interesting that costs really does play into the barriers to patenting. In terms of facilitators to the MedTech patenting, data to support the idea, company interests, new ideas, licensing opportunity, adoption rates. So we also would like to see healthcare economics here. In terms of whether you decide to patent or not patent, healthcare economics of just what is the standard of care so that you know if the device or the IVD that you're working on is in or around that level of reimbursement or you're more cost effective. That would be something that would be interesting to see. So what are the marketing materials used? We wanted to see this because a lot of the TTOs who focus on licensing, we want to see what are the key marketing materials that you see as useful to getting either funding or getting a license agreement. So prototypes are in there, healthcare economics again, case studies would very much be in line with healthcare economics, a business plan, and it was interesting, cold calls are up there, but we would encourage the TTOs to have as many links to strategic partners as possible, if not finding out who in that industry would be the best person to talk from a strategic point of view. What are the barriers to MedTech spinout creation? Connections, team, funding, crowded market, and so we see a lot of people talking about lack of experienced TTO, lack of experienced CEOs, and we would see that as well. When we look to fund a medical device, we really want to see a good team around it. So the clinicians that we deal with, they will invest early stage, but it really is interesting to have a team as part of what we can do. Okay, so that's all of the questions that we had answered. Does anybody have any questions in and around MedTech Syndicates and what we do? We could spend a couple of minutes maybe talking about that. Sure. Okay, no worries. So MedTech Syndicates essentially is clinician-based funding. So we have a network of clinicians that we have a syndicate for. So we will put companies on our site that are early stage, so pre-spin out, and we will have the clinicians vet the idea, register interest, and ask questions in and around the unmet clinical need, the market, and where they see themselves fitting into the standard of care. We will then, if there is interest from the clinician group, we would launch with those companies with a number of KOLs who are already interested in investing. So the investment levels with MedTech Syndicates for each individual clinician is between 5 and 25,000. We try to get KOLs to invest early, and then we follow up with that investment by talking to other clinicians in that space. So if they were cardiology, we'd follow up with cardiologists. If it's urology, we follow up with urologists. And we then work for about 6 to 8 weeks to build up as many clinicians as possible investing in that product. We're not the lead investors, but then we would work with the VCs to syndicate afterwards. So that's essentially what we do. It's clinicians investing in MedTech.
Are the VCs finding it interesting that you've got KOLs who are almost doing a bit of they're validating the technology of MedTech?
Yeah, so we work with Atlantic Bridge in Ireland, who have brought some of their technologies that they're looking to invest in. They've done the due diligence on the market, but they want to see, will clinicians actually buy in? So they're working with us on a collaborative basis. We also work with an American VC fund called the Innovator Advantage, and they also have a number of companies that they have in an accelerator that they would say, okay, will clinicians buy into this? So there's one that is looking to change how they look at the diagnostics of ECGs. A normal ECG is a 12 lead that you have to wear for 2 days. These guys are looking at something drastically different. There's a lot of support for it, but they don't know whether or not clinicians will change from a 12 lead as the standard of care to this technology. So they're looking to vet that. But yeah, the VCs so far have been very interested in working with us. Any other questions? Perfect. All right. Well, enjoy the conference. Have a coffee, and I'll see you at the drinks reception tonight.